So how do we get into this awareness, this inner peace? That's always the question. And we'll ask it a few thousand times more, maybe each day. Our inner self, our natural self, is a place of peace. It's not just an experience, it's an actual state of being, the way we are when we're in there. It is joyful, it is peaceful, it sees much beauty, it sees with curiosity, and it sees with a desire to wish well for everything and everyone. When we can step back into that, that's how we actually experience things. It's not about putting on a fake positive attitude or adopting some belief that pumps up our endorphin system and makes us feel that kind of bliss. It's often a quiet joy, a quiet peace. It's not possessive, but it appreciates, very much appreciates all that is there for seemingly given to us or available to us. It's the root of the teachings about gratitude, where you're not grateful for so much. It's just you're so glad that I'm here and this is here. Again, that's its nature. Our animal self has a whole lot of other agendas and programs, which I'll go into in a separate talk. But understand that its goal and its purpose is to keep us alive, to make sure we survive, to get the things we need and want. So it's not bad. It's just a smaller component or aspect of our human self than we have thought it to be. Previously, before seeking awareness, we thought it was everything and we had to satisfy it and fulfill it and follow it. So without spending much more time now on what the two aspects are, let's begin looking, how do I get into them? How do I get into the natural self? This is a subtle, tricky thing. You do some practices that I'll give, and then you just get it one day, and now you know. And the trick is getting to that point. When I first started meditation, I had a different type of teaching from a spiritual path. It took me 2.5 months before I had a clear-cut experience of being in this state of awareness. And even then, no one had outlined it for me, and I didn't realize where I was or what I had. And I'm hoping to shortcut this adventure for anyone interested so that you may touch it sooner and recognize it and then value it, and then it grows. One basic step to begin is a simple little practice. Just get quiet for a moment, sit still, can be at a red light or anywhere, and notice that you can notice what your thoughts are thinking. Oh, I'm thinking about this. Right now I'm thinking about making this video and a few hundred other thoughts about things I should say or such. Notice what you're feeling. Oh, what are my emotions right now? Peaceful. I have a little bit of concern for friend Barb, who's in the hospital at the moment getting her knee replaced. Okay. What's my body sensing and feeling? Yeah, a bit cooler today than it has been, but otherwise feeling pretty good. Okay. But the question is, who am I that can see, that I can see what I'm thinking, see what I'm feeling, both in emotion and in body? That's the gateway to our awareness. And we're going to learn to turn to that more and more often until it becomes a continuous habit. For me, I just kind of imagine that this awareness is outside of my brain. It's right up here, kind of somewhere in the close neighborhood, but it's outside of my thinking brain. So I use that little inner visual in myself, and it's like, all right, I want to check in with that space, and what does it have to offer? Well, for one thing, when I touch that space, it's always pretty calm. It's like, yep, this is what's going on. This is what you're thinking. Uh-huh. But if I can hang there for just a moment, even, our inner awareness, this natural self, has a very amazing ability. Yet is the overlord, as it were, of all the rest of our being. Meaning, it can insert new thoughts. Our brain can only create thoughts from the past. It can reorganize them and, change the mix-up, but it cannot create new thoughts. New thoughts always come from awareness. Well, we all have awareness, so we all occasionally do get a new thought. So sometimes we're very resistant to that in certain topics. So when I step up into that space where I can see what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, etc., it's just silent. It never has a voice. It's the silence all the mystics talk of. It's pleasant feeling. It's not worried, but it's very curious and very aware feeling. Okay, so now I know a little bit more of what that space is, just from that simple practice of asking, who am I that can see my thoughts and emotions and body? Just doing this repeatedly, as often as you think of it, will begin to introduce you. It seems from my experience and from others telling me that this awareness in us wants to grow, wants to make itself known as the life we are. And so it will attempt to remind us, to impulse us to turn to it, to want it. I've come to believe that it's the source of that deep longing for peace. I think everybody occasionally just has a moment, either through joy or exhaustion, where it's just a really deep longing for some peace. Oh, I believe that's our own awareness calling us to come to it. So it's more a matter of just saying yes to it. The problem is when we say yes to it and we step out of our brain, the brain immediately notices and usually hollers something to get our attention back to it. Well, what about? And we gotta, and we should, and there's this, and you gotta be afraid and worried. It's very busy at that because the animal body was designed to help us survive. The brain believes it is the means of our survival. It needs to constantly be running the show and paying attention on its terms to everything. So it's going to take a while to retrain ourself, the natural self included, to turn to awareness and stillness instead of immediately following the brain or jumping back into the brain the moment we do get a moment of peace. The second thing we can do that's easy enough, and here you'll see where the brain really challenges us, because you want peace, not because any teacher says this is what you should do, but because you want peace. Carve out a time of your day to devote to peace. It's a space that grows in us when we give it attention. It's always been there, but our awareness of it may have been zilch. To increase our awareness of it brings us into experiencing through it And then there comes the peace, the joy, the beauty, compassion, love. So I need to give it value. And I give it value by giving it some time. Time is only a function of the brain. So I need to set aside some time to just look for or soak in this place of peace. And that's traditionally been called meditation or contemplative prayer. I suggest beginning with a very simple way. The optimum daily practice is 20 minutes, but you don't need to start with 20 minutes. If you choose to start with a lesser time, let's say 1 minute, can you do that 3 times a day? Try to do it once when you first wake up. Try to do it in the middle of your day, maybe around lunch break, and try to do it again sometime in the evening before your brain starts crashing into sleepy mode. What we do in that time we give it is get still again, find the gateway of, okay, here I am. I see I'm thinking this. I see I'm feeling that. Who am I that is seeing that? And maybe a couple soft statements. I just want to feel peace. I want to know what this awareness is. It doesn't take much. It's really the invitation and giving the time. And so we sit for whatever time we decided and just keep repeating that. And many times you're going to notice the brain gets bored very quickly. Even a minute can seem long. Just keep doing that little practice. Maybe you'll want to adopt a mantra. A mantra is just an item to focus on. Just like restating, I want to know peace. I believe this peace is leading me to itself. Whatever. If you have a spiritual practice, you can throw in some phrase you like from that. But the thing is, to spend that time just watching yourself watching, your brain will keep offering up thoughts, and you just say, no, not right now. We'll get to that later. Where's my peace? Okay, no, not right now. We'll get to that later. There's that emotion. I was really pissed. I'm still pissed about. Yep. Oh, I can be pissed about that later. Right now, I want to know peace. This doesn't sound like much. I mean, the brain wants a technically outlined path. If I do this, I'll get that result in where it's doing something. But the whole point of this practice is to begin to learn how to live outside of the brain. It's not going to cooperate initially, nor is it going to understand it, because awareness is not understandable to the brain or by the brain. But awareness does understand the brain. In my repeated choice, there's the active ingredient, my choice to one, to know and be more peace will invite and activate my awareness. And being on the higher order of the hierarchy in our human construct, our awareness will begin helping us transform our brain and emotions and even our body. Give these little things a try and just see if something interesting happens in a bit. Thank you.